Historically, it was common for us to go out with the families along certain, like family areas that were designated. And it was your responsibility to go and burn and help another family over burn. And, you're cleaning out like the shrubs and the grass and, the old growth grass to allow new growth. You're like creating a buffer around your village sites, because normally you're going to get lightning strikes along the highlands that are going to burn naturally. So the idea is when you burn around your village, you're buffering your living space, so you're not in danger of a burn once it goes around your village and moves forward. Our people were like not only pushed out of the land, but burning was illegal. They didn't want us burning. Like if an Indian was burning, that's like an act of hostility. You're like, it's a declaration of war. And fire's wild, Indians are wild. And like America unfortunately wanted to suppress anything wild. So, along with, the genocide and relocation of our people, the practices of burning were, banned and outlawed. As a tribal forester, I feel like getting my certs and hopping on prescribed fire and, reading about different techniques in fire, that's like a personal interest of mine that I'm trying to take advantage of and get, versed in. So I got to train with like expert firefighters who are fire bosses who are like been firefighting for like 12, 15 years. Tree fallers showing us how to fall trees correctly. Something that really stood out to me, to one of my mentors, I think she was always talking about building a relationship with fire, not fighting it, not, taming it. What we did that day to burn and clear allotments for the Yurok people, for their family allotments, was like, to this day, probably like the most fulfilling volunteer work I've ever done. But it's kind of hard to call it volunteer work. I felt like I was in a prayer ceremony, like that feeling you get after ceremony. It's the same feeling as you get after a prescribed fire. That's one thing that I really like the forestry major. Yeah, it is like a Western science path, but the forestry degree is like a multifaceted degree where you have to learn all these different disciplines and stuff. And I feel like, our people historically, we were like what you might consider like a forest engineer or forester, and when I was a kid, I was taught by Smokey the Bear, like fire's bad, prevent forest fires. So really, like as I'm learning more about fire ecology and like actually going out and burning, I'm like, I'm kind of like going against everything that they taught me in grade school.